Hey everybody, welcome to the walkthrough for Chapter 8. Chapter 8 is going to cover making budgets and doing bank reconciliations. And so, without further ado, let's get into it. As always, on the overview page for the chapter, there's a little printout, figure 8.1, that has the trial balance of where we should be to start this lesson. So I'm going to go to reports, just double check. It shouldn't be a problem, right? Because I checked it when I ended my previous one too. But nonetheless, I'll check it out and it looks like I'm all set. So I'm going to go on to the next page, which is titled Budget Creation. And then the section is called To Create a Profit and Loss Budget for the Wildwater Sports Company, do the following. Step 1, continue from above. Step 2, make sure the navigation bar is open. Step 3, click the gear icon and select budgeting as shown. So here's my gear icon. Under tools, we have something called budgeting. We're going to click create budget. That's step 4. And then step 5, we're going to select fiscal year 2027, which is January 2027 to December 2027. And then we're going to choose, let's see. It says consolidated profit and loss in our budget format. And I think we're going to leave the pre-filled data blank. We're going to click next. All right, step 7, we'll click the pencil icon to the right of budget FY27 right here. And we're just going to give it the name budget 1. Step 8, make sure the compare reference data option is not selected. See right now you can see compare reference data is selected. I'm going to turn that off. Step 9, click in the 2027 sales account. So there it is, sales, January 2027. Step 10, type 180,000. Whoops. Sorry, I should be in the January, not in the budget totals. So there you go. There's our first step in creating a budget. We're claiming, or we're estimating $180,000 in sales in January 2027. And then we're going to use, let me come back up to it. We're going to use here to fill that value across the row. So that's just like telling the budget system, we think we're going to do the same amount of sales every month, $180,000. Step 11, type 5,000 in the January service revenue text box. And then we're also going to copy across. We can look up here and see what this looks like yearly, those amounts, quarterly, or monthly. So step 12 was just to click yearly to see what that looks like. All right. So we're going to click the gear icon. We're going to say hide empty rows. And place a check next to compact, which it already is, and click apply. That'll just make this a little easier to look at. It sort of shrinks down all those empty rows. And then we're going to go back to monthly, which we had already done. And then we're going to come back here and we're going to unhide the empty rows. So they're just showing you that you can do that, right? That you can hide those or have them showing. All right, so that was step 14. Step 15, scroll down the budget worksheet and type additional January amounts for cost of goods sold, um, advertising and marketing, interest paid, all of those. And then we're going to copy them across. So I'm going to do cost of goods sold of 135,000. Copy that across. Advertising and marketing of 10,000. Copy that across. Interest paid of 2,500. Copy that across. Payroll expenses of 11,000. There they are. Copy that across. Equipment rental, 5,000. Copy that across. Supplies of 3,000. Copy that across. Internet and TV services, 4,000. That seems like a lot per month. Phone service of 2,000 a month. Copy that across. Vehicle gas and fuel of $1,000 and copy that across. All right. So we've put all of our amounts in that it's told us to. Now it wants us to go back up. We are going to go back to the hide empty rows, hit apply. And that was all of step 15. And now we have our budget. Looks like we're budgeting total revenue for the year of 2,220,000. Cost of goods sold 1,620,000. Total expenses of 450,000. Giving us a net income of 138,000 for the year. So there's our budget. Remember, a budget's just a plan, right, for what we think we're going to do. We're going to hit save and close, and that's the end of the page. So we're going to go to the next page. QuickBooks made it easy for me to create a budget. I refuse to answer your question like that. That's how I feel about those questions. All right, so I'm on the next page called Budget Reports. And the steps start with to view budget reports in Wildwater Sports Company, do the following. Continue from where you left off. Step 1. Step 2, we'll go to reports. And then we're going to type budget. And you can see that we have a couple of options. And we're going to start with budget overview. So that's step 3. So there's our budget overview. We're going to click customize. Let's see. And we're going to click rows and columns. You can tell I don't use this one very often in real life. So it's taken me a second. So let's see. Accounts versus total under the rows and columns section. Under show grid. Yep, that's right. And then we're going to click run report. So now we're showing our totals for the year. So this is our budgeted income statement for the year. It tells us to click collapse to view the collapsed budget overview report for the year as shown in figure 8.5. So here's the collapse button, as opposed to the expanded. Doesn't look that much different, but that's what they tell us to do, and we are obedient. All right, so that was step 3. We're going to click customize. We're going to have ours not show cents. So we're going to do without cents. Means it just shows to the dollars place. Then we'll run the report again, and you'll see it just shows to the dollars place. We're going to save our customization. We're going to call this one budget overview. And then we're going to hit save. So that's going to be saved to our customized reports list. That was step 7, by the way. Now we're going to do a different type of report. So I'm going to go back to reports. I'm going to type budget. And now we're going to do a budget versus actual report. So that's step 8. This has like tons of stuff laid out, so it can be hard to see. So the first thing we're going to do here is hit collapse. And that'll still has a lot, but it should make it just look a little bit easier to look at. And then we're going to customize it. So we're going to hit customize. That was steps 9 and then 10. We're going to change the from and to dates. Let's see, from 1/1/2027 to 1/31/27. So we just want to look at the month of January 2027. For rows and columns here, we're going to do accounts versus the total. And then we're also going to choose without cents again in the number format area. Step 13, we're going to click Run Report. And now you can see our report where you can see the sales. Here's what we actually did, what we budgeted. Shows that we're actually under budget, right? We haven't sold as much as we thought we would. And we can kind of look at that and compare for each of these. We're going to hit Save Customization. We're going to call this Budget versus Actuals and hit Save. All right, so we've just shown you real quick a couple of the types of budgets and budget reports you can do. There's so many other reports and so many other things you can use in QuickBooks. And we will look in chapter 10, we'll do some more financial statements and reports. Anyway, but that's just to give you an overview of budgets and budget reports. So we'll click the next page and we'll look at a bank reconciliation. A bank reconciliation is just where we check the bank statement against what we've been recording in our books. A lot of this can be more automated now, especially if we link up our checking accounts with QuickBooks, but a lot of people still prefer to do it by hand. So I'm going to show you how to do a reconciliation report. So on the page titled Bank Reconciliation, the steps start with to create reconciliation for the Wildwater Sports Company, do the following. So continue from above is step 1. Step 2, make sure the navigation bar is open. Step 3, we're going to go to the gear icon. And under Tools, we're going to go to Reconcile. We'll click Get Started. It doesn't say it in the book, but we're going to hit Let's Get Reconciled Like a Pro. And we're still on step 4 here. Make sure we choose our checking account since that's what we've been using for all of our money. All right, so that'll bring up our reconcile, I guess, window. We're going to type the date as 1/31/2027. Oh, sorry, statement ending balance of 103,396.77, and our statement ending date 1/31/2027. We're going to assume we have no service charges or anything like that or interest earned on our bank statement, so we'll hit start reconciling. When we do that, it's going to bring up a list of all the checks we've written. So that's step 7. And then in real life, what we'd be doing is comparing each of these deposits, checks, bill payments, etc., against the bank statement and sort of checking them off as we find them on the statement. This tells us after review of step 8, after review of the company's most recent bank statement in a comparison with the company's checking account, you discover appear on the bank statement. That's not great grammar. Click on the Payments tab and place a check next to all the checks and payments except for checks 1011, 1012, 1013, none of which have cleared the bank. So we could check all those, or we could use this to check, select all, and then I'm just going to uncheck these 3 which have not cleared the bank. That's not crazy. A lot of times when we get our bank statement checks or other things other deposits or other things we've made that are at the very end of the previous month will still not be cleared through the bank, right? All right. So step 9 says after review of the company's most recent bank statement concerning the other checking account, you discover that all deposits and other credits recorded in the checking account appear in the bank statement. Click the Deposits tab. We were actually on the All tab there. So the instructions said to do the Payments tab. We click all those, the Deposits tab. And so I did that a little bit wrong by being on All, but we can see all the deposits are clicked as cleared. Step 10, click the All tab, and your account is reconciled as shown by the 0 difference between the statement ending balance and the cleared balance. So we can see here's our statement ending balance minus our cleared balance. So the difference is 0. So that's good. That means we're reconciled. The checks and deposits we have recorded in our books match up with the checks and deposits that are on the bank statement. Once we've reconciled and we see that we have a 0 difference, we're going to click Finish Now. And then we'll hit Done. That's step 11. Step 12, it says click the text history by account. A summary of all reconciliation reports should appear. So right here is history by account. You can see that we have 1 because we just did 1 reconciliation report. Step 13, we can click View Report. Here's our report. It tells us in step 13 to click Hide Additional Information. And here's the summary portion of the report. Just shows our beginning balance, checks that have cleared, deposits that have cleared, the ending balance, and then the uncleared transactions and the register balance. Then it gives you details of all the checks and other things. Step 14 is to print this out, which we're not going to do. And that takes us to the end note for the chapter. So that's the walkthrough for chapter 8. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. And hopefully, even though we did it in kind of like a canned way here, you could see the possibilities for a real business where you could do bank reconciliations and make sure that what's showing up on your bank statement is matching up your own records. And You can run budgets, create a budget and run a budget report that would compare your actuals to your budget with tons and tons of flexibility to kind of do whatever you want. Anyway, I hope it's helpful to you. And as always, don't be afraid to reach out if you need some help.